Today we're here to talk about riding the digital wave. Now, actually, we are not going to have a big conversation about technology. It's really more focused on how do you be a part of that technology. So I've been with PepsiCo for about 11 years. We are an organization that has a passion for learning, and that's what I love about it. We are a large organization, constantly changing, lots of learning opportunities to continue to be the best organization that we can be. Looking forward to talking to you guys more about riding the digital wave today.
Thank you, Byron. I'm Barry Stern with DDI, and we've been around for about 45 years. We focus on research and innovation in the area of leadership, growth, and insight, and happy to have the opportunity to chat with you this morning as well.
Thanks, Greg.
So, yes, we are going to talk about riding the digital wave, but I thought I'd start out talking with you about a time where the digital wave really crashed on me, and maybe you've had some similar experiences in your career. One of the most intimate moments for all of us in a business context is when we're having a performance management discussion. Well, this forlorn fellow upon the beach there is me a few years ago when I had my first performance management discussion driven by technology. I had a manager that I fundamentally disagreed with. I was a part of a company that had been acquired. He had one philosophy around what I should be doing. I had a very different philosophy. We really needed to sit down and hash it out. But in fact, I didn't really have the courage to approach him, nor did he have the courage to approach me. So instead, we made the bits approach each other. He sent me some messages, put it on the performance management system. I responded, and on paper, or in digits, zeros and ones, it looked like we had managed our way through this wonderful performance management process. But in fact, we had never actually had the discussion. That's a real example of a misuse of technology, and probably something that all of you have experienced, or you know people in your organization that have experienced. Contrast that with a very interesting organization called Stitch Fix, which started up by Katrina Lake, started it up in 2011. Last year, $250 million in revenue. I actually think that was 2015. Supposed to go up to about 375 last year. Getting the most out of what's happening in the digital world right now. Powered by analytics. In fact, she has computational neurologists on staff, whatever the heck that actually means, but she has astrophysicists and folks who are really ensconced in big data. And what they do is provide a very personalized experience in the clothing and accessories industry for people like me. When you join Stitch Fix, you fill out a demographic form and you answer some questions about yourself. You might even look at some pictures of outfits that you either like or don't like, and they're learning about you every step of the way. If you think about it, think about how different that is from when you walk into a department store. The first time you're in a department store, you walk through the threshold, they don't know anything about you. But the first time you interact with Stitch Fix, they're learning an awful lot about you. But they've got it right. It's not just about all these analytics. They recognize this phenomenon that Jeff Colvin talks about, that the greatest advantage of computers is in our ability to be released from a lot of the stuff that computers can do better and allow us to be distinctly human, as he would say, with each other, showing empathy, building relationships, leading, inspiring other people. Stitch Fix recognizes this because even with all of that analytics, they assign us, those of us who are clients of Stitch Fix, as I am, they assign us personal stylists. So when I got my first fix, as you can see here, I was assigned a personal stylist whose name was Jen. And Jen connected with me. She talked with me about how she had pulled together my first fix. And she began to give me some advice about how I could pull it all together. So it was the combination of the technology and the technology's ability to release my humanity and release the humanity of Jen, my stylist, that really unleashed the power of the fix. this is really challenging for us to get right. One of the things that this Deloitte slide shows is that it appears as if businesses are really being driven by the latest advances in technology, like artificial intelligence, natural language processing, those sorts of things. But in fact, business productivity has not really increased relative to the technology that's available. In fact, what's really happened is that we are riding different waves of adoption. And in fact, the individual wave, many of us are using Uber and on YouTube and Hulu and all these other things, Pinterest, right? Individuals are adopting technology much more quickly than our businesses. And we know a lot of the reasons for that. And then when you get down to the other level of the curve, you'll see that the public sector still lags behind. So we're all trying to figure out how to take the promise of technology, merge it with humanity, and then also make sure that we can connect with our learners in today's world. PepsiCo University is doing some very, very interesting things in this regard, and I'm going to hand it over to Byron Johnson to talk with you a little bit about it. Byron?
Thanks, Barry. So how many of you have heard employees own their careers? Take that, couple it with all the latest technologies. Our managers have been left off the hook. They're not responsible anymore. At least a lot of them, that's what they think. The employee can go search all this content out there, figure out what they need to grow and develop. Our technology is going to fix it. It's one of those two things. So that's what we want to talk about today, is making sure that we understand that it can't be just the technology. It can't just be the employee going out there and trying to figure out what they need. It's a multiple approach method for us to make sure we get the right content in front of them. And so like Stitch Fix, it takes the technology, the analytics, and puts that together with actual people really analyzing where we are. So let's first talk a little bit about PepsiCo University and how they operate. So we actually make sure that we organize ourselves according to multiple content needs. We're a large global organization. We have our leadership needs. So you see that in the blue over on the left-hand side. What I would call cross-functional in nature. So we're looking at leadership development, professional skills, and those things. In the middle, you have the green section, which is all of our functional content. So again, being a large organization, trying to be as productive and as efficient as possible, we try to drive as many global processes as we possibly can. While we also have, in purple, the sector team. In reality, this is not really sized appropriately. Our sector teams are large. We have learning functions that operate across the globe to make sure that we can connect the local learning needs to the business. And they also take the content from our leadership or cross-functional space as well as our functional space. So if we take that back to Stitch Fix, think of those as stylists. We do have different groups looking at different needs for different days. Okay, so what is the type of learning that we need right now? And it's that personal interaction that helps us be successful. One thing that might also be helpful is understanding what overall PepsiCo University's strategy is. And as an organization, we're lucky enough to have a CEO who has a high value on learning, and it emanates throughout the entire organization. And as PepsiCo University, we are continuing to try to push that learning culture, accelerate it, make sure that every level of the organization sees value in learning and that they actually find that on-the-job success through application. The learner experience is critical. Without the right opportunities to find the content, it doesn't take too long, it's not too confusing, a learner is going to get annoyed. Too many content choices, you fall into choice fatigue. So that learner experience is critical. And then finally is us making sure that we have the right content to help people build the right functional skills. Learning at PepsiCo starts from the CEO. She has a passion for it. She actually recently delivered a pep talk on learning as a lifelong journey, and one that we should all as an organization continue to drive, continue to remain curious in our work. All of her direct reports, our other senior leaders, have also delivered 10, 15-minute pep talks to help people understand the mega trends that are impacting our business so that we can be more effective in each of our jobs, understand the global impacts of the world that is driving our business here at PepsiCo. But the top of our organization, they are teachers, right? So we're not just a learning culture, but we're a teaching culture. And we see our senior leaders pushing that, and it's going through the rest of our organization. That also lines up with our Learn Together program. So this is an idea, it kind of works in multiple different ways. It's both a methodology and an advertising strategy. We want people to take a Learn Together approach in everything that they do. Bring people along with you. A lot of times in the past, we've delivered training and just assumed that people knew how to take that back to their job. We want the manager and the peers and other experts in the business to help connect that back so that you can see how that actually fits with you and in your role. And you know how to be more effective as you move forward. We play that out in multiple different ways, whether those are large group settings or lunch and learns or more informal than that. The idea is to try to get to a grassroots level in total where teaching is the norm. And we are on our way to do that. Barry, why don't we talk a little bit more about the three factors that help us predict skill application?
Thank you. So I think we'll finish up here just by talking about some research that we recently did when we've looked at frontline leaders and the most important ways that they find relevance in the kind of teaching culture that Byron is talking about. It really boils down to three things. One is, do they see what it is that they need to do on a daily basis reflected in the training? If they see that, they're going to get engaged and be motivated to learn. The second is, are they in fact in harmony with what the objectives of the learning is as they see it, or are as they see it? For example, do they see, if they want to get more visibility, do they see that learning what they are experiencing right now is going to help them get more visibility in the organization? The most important thing, though, by far, and that which organizations fall really short on, is the notion of manager support. Is the manager that is responsible for that individual's development one of the teachers that Byron is talking about? Are they reflecting the knowledge? What we found out is that only 59% of leaders going through the programs that we put them through have managers that are in fact supporting their skills. So if you were only to do one thing that will make learning take hold, it would be the manager support for what individual learners are going through. Thanks very much.